I didn't hear
It could be the internet.
Could be.
I think Andrew's there. Andrew, you in?
Hello.
Oh, perfect. We were just talking about your tour with Steve Hofstetter. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. I FaceTimed you yesterday, so.
And yeah, this morning I think even.
Was it No, it wasn't this morning. It was last night.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Keith FaceTimed me as soon as I got back. I got you all mixed up.
You must be. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Go ahead. Yeah. Let's get right into it.
Must be putting a good buzz on. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I was bragging on you because I was just blown away by the tour that you're on, and I can't wait to drive out to Syracuse and see it again. What cities are you in over the next, say, month and a half or so?
I don't join the tour again until November, so.
Okay. So are you in the Northwest right now?
Yeah, I'm doing a couple local things, and then I'll be back on the road in November.
Okay.
That'll be like Florida, and we hit a bunch of Ohio and some other stuff. I don't know.
It's the super spreader
I'm glad
tour.
that, I'm glad you.
Good.
The mouth
Glad you're
breather
talking
tour.
about me. I kept listening to your podcast after the show to see if you would brag on me a little bit, but I guess Wikipedia
I
was
did.
very
I did
exciting,
at least brag on one podcast right after you left here. I remember that.
All right.
But I'm glad you're listening and disappointed. That's fantastic.
Well, no change from the usual. So
And by the way, on this tour, I was about to tell the story. There's this artist. It's like a sketch artist who, while she's watching the show, she does illustrations of some of the jokes the comics say, and I bought one from her. And it's kind of cool. It was cool to watch my son and Steve. And who's the other guy?
Brett Druck.
Brett. I really liked him a lot. I just have to remember his name. To watch everybody, and then she comes up afterwards, and they put on a projector illustrations of some of the jokes. And there's this joke Andrew does, and by the way, you've developed it even further because there's a video up on Facebook or YouTube or somewhere. And it's the one with the polar bear, and it's the one with the My Pillow guy, and
Sure.
I think you've done it here before, but it's just brilliant in that it's gentle. It is, it is liberal humor.
It's provocative, but it's
a polar bear, the My Pillow boy guy, and a Boogaloo boy going to a bar. And
all right.
Yeah, he's mixing up three different jokes. But
am I really? That's
okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'll repeat it here for him, but it's about people think there's a microchip in the vaccine, and I think there's a microchip in the My Pillows. It's connected to.
That's right.
Well, there are a bunch of
tiny
microchips
speaker.
all chipped up, right? That we can reshape.
Yeah. Well, it just whispers
That's why they're so
subliminal
comfortable.
messaging in your ear every night as you lay down to bed. Like the election.
The whole thing was stolen.
So,
The election
so
was
Spike,
stolen.
Spike, you
You're
can't
very
steamroller
manly.
over the comedian.
Yeah.
No, let him have his fun. It's all right. I mean, you're going, do that one joke on command. It's not really in conversation. So. Right.
Welcome to my world, pal. 30 freaking years.
I know.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Did this to each other for 25 years. So
Keith did that to me too a bunch. Like he'd have friends over. He'd be like, "My brother's a comedian. Tell him that one joke." It's
Do
fun.
that one joke where you drop your pants. Go on, do it.
Yeah.
well, it tends to be that one joke that's interweaved in a tapestry of a whole bunch of setups. And I know what you're saying, Andrew, and you can't, where's the beef?
Yeah. But it was that was a fun tour, because we started in Vermont and then we ended up in Mississippi after, a month. And so what's funny about that, the My Pillow joke is that the end of it gets a huge applause break every single time, but the further south we would go, the more time it would take for the audience to start clapping,
Yeah.
Like, how you can tell how far away lightning is by counting the seconds between like the flash and
One
the thunder,
1,000,
right?
two
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
And with the joke, you could tell how far away the enlightening is. So
The Mason-Dixon and
The
lightning
Mason-Dixon
line.
line would be...
It's 10 IQ
Yeah.
points for every second delay, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
It's
boy.
pretty good.
choose from all those multiple choice possible tags. So, but they worked in the South too, though.
Yeah, the jokes, you know, at a certain point, they're at least the way I do it, but it's mathematical and it's wordplay and it's as long as I have their attention, I can win. And but yeah, the jokes and also Steve brings out a particular crowd that is pretty liberal and left leaning, so. They're there for a good show. It's a great opportunity to just
But
work
it's
on
not
new
a
stuff,
politics show, I have to say. It's really humor. It's not like I'm not liberal and I'm not conservative, and to me, it should be funny to everybody. Mm-hmm. It's not like some of the late night comics now get a little too preachy for me.
Oh yeah, especially the hosts. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It's your time. You can do whatever you want. And now they got the late night guy on Fox.
Greg Gutfield or whatever.
Gutfeld.
Gutfuck.
Mike doesn't like it.
It's a German name.
So I got to tell
show.
you a story about him. Have you ever heard of him, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, he was going viral on the internet for the first few weeks for the wrong reasons. Just because he was not getting any laughter on his jokes.
Okay, so let me tell you how I heard him. I have satellite radio in the car. I bought the Lifetime satellite radio when I bought the pickup truck in 2012. I am going to drive that pickup truck until it dies.
Get your
They won't
money.
let you transfer it to another vehicle.
Oh wow.
And so, I don't get a bill. So Fox News is on in the pickup truck. And it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And all I hear, and try this and see if you don't agree, I'm hearing Stephen Colbert.
Right.
This guy Gutfeld sounds audio, not visual, I'm sure. So maybe no one's
not
noticed it
close.
but me. Dead ringer for Stephen Colbert.
He may be aping that delivery on purpose too.
You think? Maybe. I mean, I don't know if he's aping it or they picked him because
He's a vocal
he's got a
doppelganger.
Colbert-like delivery, only
Right.
he's conservative, which I think is totally fair, by the way. I love free speech, and I'm very tortured about how you curate free speech and where you draw the line. I don't want government to be too powerful because then the power can be used in the wrong way.
Right.
But anyway, I'm listening, and I'm like, oh, Colbert's on my... And I didn't even look and see it was Fox. And I'm listening to Colbert, and he's saying all these things that Colbert would never say.
He thought he sold out.
I'm like, wait a minute, Colbert is making fun of Biden? What? And then I thought for a second, because remember John, what's his name? The Daily Show.
Stewart.
Jon Stewart used to make fun of both sides. He would make fun of Obama. Obama, meet me at camera
of course he
3,
would.
right?
Part of his genius.
And so I thought, wow, Colbert is ripping on Biden. Good for him. And then the rips just got ruder and ruder. And I thought, that isn't Colbert.
They got Roto-Rooter.
And I looked at the screen and it said Gutfeld. And I went, oh, that's Fox's late night show. And I wish him well. They actually are claiming that he's beating Colbert.
Have to see the numbers.
I wouldn't be surprised because the liberals are dividing themselves up between Kimmel, Colbert,
Three
and
ways,
Fallon.
right?
Wow, that's a good point.
And all the Reds are going for Gutfuck.
Okay, that is what's
Am I still pronouncing that wrong?
conspiracy theory. By the way, I love it. It's a great one. I
would
had the
guarantee
same
you-
thought as you, by the way, but I researched it.
And
And by the way, when a person like me uses the word research,
Yeah.
you looked it up.
we're
didn't you?
full of
the
shit.
net.
We
Yeah.
Googled it, okay?
I researched it.
I read double-blind studies. One was a placebo getting jokes that weren't funny.
I researched it and
But
wrote
here's-
down the sheepskin.
Here's what I did find out. The reason they can claim more ratings is because on the West Coast it's on at 8 p.m. when there's a much larger viewer audience. And on the East Coast it's on at 11 p.m. So it only competes in one time zone for a half hour
Right.
with late night, but they're calling it late night. In other words, it's been.
Well, the radio stations did that for
Of course, we all
their
do it.
survival. Yeah.
All right, back
We're
to
from
Andrew.
that
So
I like that you said you do your own research. Whenever people say that, it sounds like slang for masturbating. You know, Mom, don't come in here. I'm doing my own research. You know, I prefer a peer-reviewed study personally, but
Oh boy.
Jokes my son tells that make his dad uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Over 200, Alex.
Yes,
Well,
and no.
I just had to slip it in there. I apologize.
But no, it's
Oh,
fine.
Hey.
You know, Andrew, I remember once when my mom and dad were over and we're watching a movie,
Oh boy.
and it was really R-rated, and you know the sex stuff started happening, and I'm sitting there squirming in the chair, and I'm thinking, why am I uncomfortable? And the answer is because they sent you to Catholic school. So, we didn't send you to Catholic school, so you don't have those.
No,
inhibitions.
maybe I would have been better off for it. But Keith is sending his kids to a Catholic school, I think.
I saw that they're wearing the uniforms. Mm-hmm. Is it? Why is he doing that? I haven't asked him.
I don't know. I
Maybe
think
he's a
it was
Catholic?
COVID. Well, I think it was one of the only schools that was doing in-person school last year. They were kind of getting tired of having the kids around all the time.
So they need a babysitter. Yeah.
Well, we'll let him speak for himself. I've meaning to ask him about that. My parents.
Yeah, you should call your son and talk to him once in a while.
I do. Well, he's
Oh,
spiritual.
let's just make up his answer.
He's spiritual, as am I. I believe in a higher power. I don't necessarily, buy doctrine of churches that
Right.
much,
I
but-
think I could be wrong. I think it's less ruler slapping and more love and peace now.
Yeah,
But I,
yeah.
I don't know much. But
With or without
that's
an
my
omniscient being? I want to know.
We sent our daughter to a Catholic school, our older daughter. She went to a
did?
Catholic high school. Yeah. We did it for smaller class size. I said, every once in a while they'll talk about God, just kind of nod a lot and go, yeah. If you fail catechism, I don't give a shit.
They had good teachers and smaller class size. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a lot, and
And a lot less
everyone should-
muggings and no metal detectors. All these great things.
I think that's good. All right.
no
Andrew,
vaccine mandates. Yeah. Now they're forcing kids to get shot before they go to school. So what a
Oh boy.
change.
Oh, hey, see what he did there?
Sorry, Andrew. I shouldn't have
That's
you
all
on
right.
with 16 people.
I know it's all right. I like the sound effects for every joke. That's fun.
You should bring Steve with you because that guy can slay hecklers, man. I mean, I got to tell you,
Yeah.
Andrew, I haven't had a chance to see you guys live, but I've seen a lot of video of your tours and more of Steve, to be honest with you, because I don't get enough chances to watch you. I love the stuff you're doing, but that guy crucifies hecklers. It's brilliant. Some of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He is.
Right on.
Anyway, about me, but just kidding. I
No,
love
not kidding
Steve.
about
I do. I mean, I owe him a lot. I've known him for probably 10 years and been working with him, and he could claim my career as a dependent on his taxes at this point. So,
Maybe you will.
big fan.
Well, he'll certainly write off his salaries, I bet.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
more about you now. I need to know a little about what you're up to. First off, you've got the really long hair right now.
Yeah, I noticed
Hey, yeah.
that.
Is that
online.
working
let
for
it-
you? Is the ladies like it? Are you digging
the
it? Are you
guys
going to
do.
cut it off? What's the deal with the hair?
There's some positive feedback. It's nice to have any feedback, so that's fine. I was just doing saving money on haircuts and just letting it try something different.
Yeah.
So
Try the Flowbee. Yes, the Flowbee. Hook it up to your vacuum. Cut your hair for free for the rest of your days. Flowbee. Now available on eBay.
That's what happens when this show lets advertising in from anyone.
I don't listen to the
getting paid
show
well
on
for
cable,
these
man.
It sounds like AM radio when you do that. Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
it's good to visit Keith. I was just down in LA for a week, and it's a good reminder. Like, hopefully, we can all. One thing we can take away from the last year and a half is to remember the things that are actually important to us. And for me, I couldn't have made it through this last year without family with money, and so it was just great to go down there.
compliment.
No, I took a gig down in LA to visit. It wasn't a good gig, but it just kind of paid for the plane ticket. And,
Visit to the
Yeah,
to the
and my
nieces, yeah.
right. And my friend kind of reached out and was like, "You're like selling out these theaters and isn't this gig a little beneath you?" And I was like, "Hey, it's just nice to have anything beneath me at this point." So But it's good. I haven't seen him since Christmas because, just everything kind of opened up, and I'm very driven in my career, and so driven, in fact, that I've driven away anyone who's ever loved me. So it was good to catch up. But this is crazy. Keith and I, he's growing. And because that's
now, is
legal.
this something that he is approved for rebroadcast?
Well, I
I'm
didn't
pretty
ask.
sure the
but I'm
Catholic
sure it's
school's
fine.
not going to be happy to hear that.
Listen, well,
You're about to learn.
hypothetically-
You're about to learn why I came home to such a cold stare in a household for so many years on the radio. Yeah. Let's say he's got a garden and he's growing some fun things, some fun herbs.
Sure. So we smoked his garden for the first time together, and
That
it was
basil,
a bonding experience, brother and sister bonding experience.
By the way, am I cornball for being like so out of touch with the times? Because Lisa and I still think of we still think of it as illegal, and I think we probably always will, in that you keep it secret.
You'd be happier
Right.
if you had an OxyContin tree was growing in the backyard.
Yeah.
Because that's legal.
As long as he had a prescription, sure.
Well, I mean, he's been into crystals and Jesus, so I feel like marijuana was the natural next step. Plus, marijuana actually works. Like I'm pretty biased, but I think that's a good alternative to drinking for some people. I think it's much less
God,
harmful. And,
No argument on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I've told you guys this on the podcast before. My wife got off of so many pharmaceutical
bet.
assistance
Yeah, that's
by
the way
going to
do it.
weed. I mean,
Yeah.
no more antidepressants, no more anti-anxieties, no more sleeping pills, all because she gets stoned out of her mind all day long. It's great.
Yeah.
Now,
That was just the wedding day.
This is the part of humor that is exaggeration, right?
Sure.
We ran into
Not
a little
all day.
We ran into a little problem with that last week, and Andrew. Sidebar for a second. I want to read a note we got from a listener about Ed Kelly. So we, from time to time, talk about Ed, who is one of the sweetest, gentlest, nicest guys. Who
Axe murderers.
no, who is monogamous. I believe your whole
Yes.
life. Almost got married at one point.
Correct. I was engaged.
It didn't happen. It was like the love of your life.
That was non-monogamy, but not on my part.
I held up my end of the agreement.
Yes,
That's right. I
did.
did.
Anyway, Ed is the last girlfriend he had when I first reconnected with him, and his present Lizzie, who's wonderful and listens to the podcast. Keep that in mind, folks.
Yes.
Are younger than he by a good deal. There's a 2 in front of their age, but we exaggerate.
Of course you do.
And so I received this email from a gal named Jenna who's listening to the show, and I want to. I responded to her and said we exaggerated.
He's
but
not Matt Gaetz. It's totally fine.
You're close. So
When they go to the theater, they buy one senior, one student. Thank you.
so
It's not that far off.
well, you're the youngest of the 3 of us, though, right? You are.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, longtime listener, first time caller. Cock-a-doodle-doo. That was the thing we used to do on our show.
Yes.
Before I totally cancel on you, did I hear correctly that Ed Kelly is a groomer? He said he knew his GF for a long time, and now she's 21. I don't know how old he is, but if he's making jokes about Gomer Pyle and Johnny Carson, he has to be over 60.
Oh, my God.
Andrew makes fun of us for that all the time. You guys
Yes.
still reading
She
Wikipedia?
carbon dated your humor.
So anyway, she said, so
Really?
if he's a groomer, that's sick in a bad way. Tell me it ain't so. And I told her, no, we exaggerated about her age. She's much older than we said, but still has a 2 in front of it. Yeah. And anyway, I asked Ed about it, and Ed said he had a friend who would vouch for him that that he's not like that at all. So.
Well, I have the commiserator in L.A. He's a director friend of mine who is also in a similar age gap relationship, and they get stink eye too, and we
They
just
do,
commiserate. Yeah. We just commiserate on that sort of thing.
Got
And
it.
it's like she's what did he call it? He said, she's a Karen with no life and blah blah blah. She's probably had a lot of bad, I don't know, and we don't know any of that, and they don't know any of
Jealousy's an ugly emotion, man.
it really is. Jealousy and insecurity are 2 of the most evil.
than harmful. So that's okay. But I bid her Godspeed. I wish her no evil.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I give her a little bit of a related experience I had last week
Sure.
with the too young to be with you kind of moment?
This is for Lizzie.
What's my phone? Hang on.
I'll get it.
Off.
It's a parole officer calling.
No, it's really.
So
I
much better
thought
than
we
those guys.
talked about this, Mr. O'Neill.
Yeah.
No, so my younger daughter was named to the homecoming court at her high school. She's a senior, and she was named to homecoming court. So last Friday night was homecoming, and we went to the local, the stadium to watch them play their high school football game on homecoming night. Mm-hmm. And at halftime, we all got to, the court walked onto the field with the band and the cheerleaders and the whole bit, and they introduced the court. And Darby wasn't elected queen, but she was part of the homecoming court. Mm-hmm. And I got to walk her out.
Oh, no.
Walk out with her. Yeah. Well, no, it was and her date, Spike O'Neill. No, it wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that.
but-
Okay.
But
Because
what
you with a teenager would look. They would.
But
be
what
better.
it was, any family member could join.
Oh.
And there was father and mothers that went out with their family. Melissa didn't want to do that. And my older daughter, Ryan, had expressed interest in walking out with Darby, too.
Oh.
But that would have looked like Spike and the 32-year-old.
Oh, your
he's
older
working.
daughter would get that creep stare.
Would get that. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So
She's
so
a
Ryan
young
didn't walk.
woman now. Yeah.
She's 32.
She's actually.
She's
I don't want to say.
Yep.
She's not
long in the
older
tooth,
yet. but
Bob.
she-
No, but she-
Well, I remember when I used to think 30 was old. Don't you guys?
I do, yeah.
Andrew, do you still
That
think?
still does, apparently.
I
Yeah.
still do.
Andrew, I want to ask Andrew.
Three, that's an ugly number. Yes. it
What's old to
is.
you, Andrew?
Well, my back.
Your backpack? Oop, we're having internet glitches.
That was a feed moment. Yeah.
That was an internet moment. Andrew, you still there?
Audible.
All right.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yep.
Oh, let me see
Still
if
here?
his internet connection went down.
I'm here. I hear you.
So we
It's the only thing that will go down on him.
no, it's not too bad. He should still be there.
Hello.
But
Why
oh,
is my,
you there?
there we go. There we go.
There he
is.
I'll
Okay.
tell your roommate,
Yeah.
shout out to porn.
What's old to you? Go ahead.
Well, my back feels 40, but no, it's all relative to your own emotions, I guess. I don't really think about
You don't think of age.
it too much. No.
What's the oldest woman you ever dated? Anyone older than you?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Never?
it's a small
Spike,
group
look at you.
to pick from, but
Yeah. Okay. No, you mostly hang out with your peers.
correct. Yeah. I mean, older women know better, so that's usually the problem I run into.
Okay.
They're not
He's
gonna waste
really
their
humble
time with me.
about
Yeah.
Never
dating
got
a woman.
cooged at your own shows, man?
By the way, can I say something about you, Andrew? That's it's a compliment. I hope you take it that way. Because we talk about being in show business and how women will sometimes come up to you, and you express that, for the most part, you're not interested in that because it's not a real relationship, right?
Depending on how hot
I
she
mean,
is.
it's all. I'm busy. I mean, that's the thing. That was what is great to me to see you at one of our shows, because then you see what my day is kind of like, and it's just when I'm going city to city. I don't have to, I'm sharing a room with another guy, so it's like, I'm gonna kick him out so I can bring this girl I've never met back to my room, and then kick her out and be like, my other roommate needs to go to sleep because we got to be up at 6 a.m. and drive to a new city tomorrow. It's just not a lot of spare
But
time.
it's not.
going
It's
on
not
out there.
interesting to you. But I'm sure your roommates have asked you to take a walk, right?
Sure, it's just not the level of I'm not the headliner on the tour, so
So Paul is the cute beetle, and you're Ringo. Is that
Okay.
what you're saying?
yeah, it's I know my place, and things that have happened to me, I necessarily don't want to continue the pattern of abuse to other people. So,
Wow.
when I'm on tour, I'm trying to just be as low maintenance as possible. I know that I'm replaceable at any moment. And, it's also, the people that will approach you are not the people that you want to approach you necessarily. So, if the stars align and the perfect situation happens, I'm all for a chase. But, it's usually, the other thing is too, that this is what happens often is I am the entertainment, right? So I am sober until 10 p.m. and then they're
Okay.
4 drinks in, So then if
You're out
we
of sync.
do meet at a bar, we're on different levels. I'm having my first drink while she's having her 5th. And then, it just doesn't match up as well. Or usually they're drunk and it's hard to chase them down after the show because I got to be like, hey, this merch line's going to take an hour. And then, there's sort of a rule, don't leave the comedy club because that's when your magic powers sort of disappear, because then you're following them to a bar with people they know.
That's right.
And
you're not a
it's
magician
like-
anymore. Yeah.
and you're not
That's
a magician
fascinating, by the way.
anymore.
No, dealing from a position of strength. Yeah.
By the way, thank you for sharing that so openly and honestly. And it wasn't comedy, but Zip, should I be proud of my boy? I mean, he's humble. He's got maturity and judgment. And what do you think of that, Zip?
Awesome.
As a drummer
Sure.
who's
Well,
been in
yeah,
many bands.
the whole. Well, come on, the music thing, the magic of, if you're standing in line at McDonald's the next day, just they step on your.
Because
foot
I mean, early on in my career, I went chasing plenty of girls around town, and it's and then you're getting in a car with somebody that you don't necessarily know. Like, am I going to take a photo of her license plates and send it to my mom? And, in case
Your mom would be the correct person. She
Smart
would be
guys
the enforcer.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would snoop it out. Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
So it's a lot more hassle than it ends up being worth. And then there's, drama the next day because even if you, go, hey, here's a contract that says this is not a relationship and I'm leaving tomorrow, they'll still go, but I thought we had something special and you misled me and blah, blah, blah. And, it's like we met in a city neither of us live in and, what do you expect? But,
Right.
Hard to
I
hurt
can't,
people.
Yeah.
This is, the Tears of a Clown. I think if I had that record, I would play that right now.
No one around.
Dun, 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 dun. Which is a reference. Andrew.
I'm a much more slow. I like to sort of plant a seed and let it develop.
don't
over
do that.
time and, yeah.
Well,
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
Corral your
you're in
corral
Oklahoma
your
City
career.
and your phone rings with a Nashville number. You're like, ah, shit.
Yeah. I've never been. I've never excelled at bringing a lady back within an hour necessarily. And so. I tend to play to my strengths anyway.
All right. Well, you're a tremendous catch for the. You're going to meet
I would
the right person.
I would.
Yeah.
You're onto something there. We'll see.
Yeah.
Have you tried using your dad as a wingman, Andrew? He seems willing.
Yeah.
Bad idea. All right.
Well,
Put a driver's
I
cap
have
on him,
been
Rick.
I have been at a comedy club and a girl has invited me out and I've said, well, no, I got to run back to the hotel and record a podcast with my dad, which doesn't really get them turned on. I would imagine. But.
Andrew, you have the
doesn't
last
pull
word.
him in.
Anything else you want to say? We're at 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, I do want to plug my album coming out next week. It's called For the Wrong Reasons, and it was recorded in July at historic Everett Theater for 500 people. And my only goal, it's going to be Pandora exclusive for a week. It'll be out on the 12th there.
So I can get it on the
it'll be-
19th on Spotify?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my only goal is to get the #1 album, for the week on Billboard. And that because that'll mean a lot to me. But it's going to be tougher than you would think because, some legendary artists are still selling lots of records every week, which is crazy. Like my friend put out his album and he was the only comedy album released that week, but he was only number 2 because Weird Al outsold him, you know.
Oh, Weird Al.
And
Paris.
it's like, yeah, so like. Even like R. Kelly just got convicted of sex crimes, and his music is still popular on Spotify. But he's
Yeah,
always
but it's
been
in
a
the kids
number 1
section,
streaming
yeah.
artist. So
Wow.
sorry, just a golden opportunity for a joke.
Yes.
It was. It
Oh,
was.
hey.
Comedy
he'll be here
showering
next,
down
folks.
upon us.
Let's
I
hope
think,
he
I think it's,
doesn't.
I think it's our Selly now, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's hope he doesn't hold you on. So, in other words, the comedy chart. If you're hoping to maybe be number 1 on that for a week or 2.
That
when
would
you
be
first
great,
come out.
yeah, that'd
Because
be
that'll
fun.
get you more people listening and a chance to go more viral, right? That's how
Something
it
to
works.
brag about to a lady at a bar. You know, I
Yeah,
was number
of
1
course.
on Billboard. You know,
Totally,
me and
that's not
Justin
you.
Bieber were like the same thing.
All right, Andrew. And the album is called For All the Wrong Reasons?
For the wrong reasons.
For the Wrong Reasons.
Sentimental reason.
And it's coming out on all your streaming services. The 12th on Pandora, the 19th
And
on
Sirius,
all the others.
yeah.
And Sirius.
It will be,
Sirius.
if you find me on social media, they're going to tell me, I think, at certain times they're going to play it like front to back on certain stations. So,
Oh, cool.
And they said
Which
they'll give
Sirius
me
channel?
Yeah.
they'll give me a week. I don't know yet. Probably Raw Dog.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's pretty
Little
adult
limited.
humor.
Yeah.
Obviously. But they'll give me a week before they let any downvotes count against me, you know, so they'll give me a chance to catch up.
give
if it,
Like training wheels on a bicycle. Let's give them a chance
Yeah.
to stand up for a little bit. Yeah. that's
just down, you know, they'll give me a gentle push downhill, and then the rest is up to me. You know?
All right, Andrew Rivers, ladies and gentlemen.
Nicely done.
I'm not going to edit. I'm not going to edit any of that out. Am I? Even the uncomfortable
Good.
stuff, right? We'll just leave
No,
it.
who
Yeah.
cares?
He's very
It was fun.
forthcoming.
It's a
Yeah,
podcast.
very
Yeah,
honest.
well, he's forthcoming.
Nothing
paid
to see
for
here,
that.
folks.
I
Move
used
along,
to too.
kid.
Yeah. All right. The last story, which we never got to, which